All right, you modern humans. In this video, we cover Emmeline Pankhurst, the early day of the women's suffrage movement, and the birth of the suffragettes. This is Speaking Through the Ages, where we bring back the dead in an attempt to bring out the values, beliefs, and internal struggle of those humans that came before. We give context to and deliver historical speeches that motivated people to kill, riot, make salt, and sign papers. I'm Joseph Delisle, your novice history fan. To join us, subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Now, Emmeline Pankhurst and the fight for women's suffrage. Emmeline Pankhurst, born 1858, died 1928, and was best known as the Suffragettes' boss bitch. In 1999, Time magazine added her to the list of 100 most important people of the 20th century, stating, quote, "She shaped an idea of women for our time. She shook society in a new pattern from which there could be no going back," unquote. Emmeline bragged about the political unrest in her blood. Sophia Jane Crane, her mother, descended from the Celtic people on the Isle of Man, which is the tiny big island between Ireland and Great Britain. Her paternal grandmother worked for the Anti-Corn Law League, and her paternal grandfather was at the Peterloo Massacre, where cavalry charged the crowd demanding parliamentary reform, killing 15 people and injuring 400 to 700. Emmeline's parents, Robert and Sophia Goulden, had 11 children. Their first son died at the age of 2. Emmeline was the third born after her brother. Her family included her in social activism at a very early age. She remembered collecting money for the United States' newly freed slaves and meeting prominent figures in social activism. Emmeline was not given the educational advantage enjoyed by her brothers. Their parents believed that the girls must learn the art of making the home attractive and skills desired by potential husbands. This ignited the fuel that drove her fight against male superiority. Despite her educational disadvantage, she began to read around the age of 3. In her autobiography, she said, quote, "I do not remember a time when I could not read," unquote. She was reading Homer's Odyssey at the age of 9 and loved The Pilgrim's Progress. Later, referring to the French Revolution, a history, she recalled it, quote, "Remained all my life a source of inspiration," unquote. She did attend an all-female school, but with limited subjects. Regardless, she grew quite fond of the school. As the first person to introduce Emmeline to the women's suffrage movement, her mother received and read the Women's Suffrage Journal, and Emmeline also became fond of its editor, Lydia Becker. At the age of 14, Emmeline came home from school one day to find her mother on her way to a public speech by Becker. She insisted on attending. Emmeline was so enthralled that she later wrote, quote, "I left the meeting a conscious and confirmed suffragist," unquote. After graduating from school, the 20-year-old Emmeline met the 44-year-old Richard Pankhurst, a barrister who advocated for women's suffrage, freedom of speech, and education reform. They married on December 18, 1879, and had 5 children in 10 years. The first 2 were daughters Christabel, born September 1880, and Estelle Sylvia, born May 1882. Their son Francis Henry was born in February 1884, and their daughter Adela was born in June 1885. Then, in 1888, their family confronted a devastating blow. Francis died from diphtheria at the age of 4. Then about a year later, the family had their final son and named him Henry Francis after his brother. The children grew up surrounded by activists, socialists, anarchists, suffragists, radicals, and humanitarians. Emmeline's children eventually became almost as historically noteworthy as Emmeline herself. The National Society for Women's Suffrage was the first national group campaigning for women's right to vote. It was founded and established by none other than Lydia Becker in 1862. However, in 1888, the organization voted to start aligning itself with political parties. This forced the splitting of the organization into those for the old anti-political party ways and those for the new party-affiliated ways. Lydia Becker and Melissa Fawcett went on to create different organizations, one of which was the National Union of Women's Suffrage Society. Emmeline aligned herself with the new philosophy and helped found the Women's Franchise League, which had very prominent members, including the daughter of U.S. suffragist Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Harriet Eaton Stanton Blatch. The group was considered too radical because they not only supported women's suffrage, but also equal rights in areas like divorce and inheritance. How dare they? Throughout the 1890s, Pankhurst started working with multiple political organizations, and for the first time separated herself as an influential activist and began to emerge from the shadows of her husband. She became active with the spin-off of the Liberal Party, the Women's Liberal Federation, but her patience with the party's unwillingness to support Irish Home Rule and upper-class leadership dwindled. Pankhurst also met and befriended Kier Hardie, a socialist from Scotland. He was elected to Parliament in 1891 and 2 years later helped create the Independent Labour Party, the ILP. Excited about the range of issues with the ILP pledged to confront, Pankhurst resigned from the Women's Franchise League and applied to join the ILP. Christabel described her mother's enthusiasm for the ILP as, quote, "In this movement, she hoped there might be the means of righting every political and social wrong," unquote. In 1898, Emmeline visited an old friend in Corsair, Switzerland with her daughter Christabel. A telegram arrived from Richard reading, quote, I am not well, please come home, my love," unquote. Leaving Christabel with her friend, Pankhurst returned to England. While on a train from London to their home city, Manchester, she happened to read the newspaper announcing the death of Richard Pankhurst. After her husband's death, Emmeline started to evaluate their progress. Suffrage bills in 1870, 1886, and 1897 all showed promise, but each was defeated. She doubted the political party's commitment to women's suffrage and even broke from the ILP when it refused to focus on votes for women. She felt speeches and promises in Parliament yielded no progress. With fuel and fire in her heart, she founded the Women's Social and Political Union, WSPU. Emmeline said about the new Women's Only Union, quote, "Deeds, not words, was to be our permanent motto," unquote. Persuaded by her daughter Christabel, she now favored more militant action. The Suffragettes were born. The first few years were spent taking nonviolent action. They made speeches, gathered petitions, organized rallies, and published a newsletter called Votes for Women. It didn't take long for all three daughters, Christabel, Adela, Sylvia, to become active in the WSPU. Christabel was arrested for spitting on a policeman in 1905. Adela and Sylvia were arrested a year later during a protest outside Parliament. Pankhurst was arrested in February 1908 when she tried to deliver a protest resolution to Prime Minister H.H. Asquith. She was sent to prison for 6 weeks. Shortly after her release, she delivered her Plight of Women speech on March 24, 1908. This is the speech we'll be delivering in our next video. Emmeline was arrested 7 times before women's suffrage was passed. The Suffragettes, the more militant version of the Suffragists, used imprisonment and hunger strikes as means to publicize the urgency of women's suffrage. On October 21st, 1908, Emmeline told the court, quote, "We are here not because we are law breakers. We are here in our efforts to become law makers," unquote. Thanks for exploring the ages with us. In this video, we cover Emmeline Pankhurst and the women suffragettes. Throughout Speaking Through the Ages, we'll encounter different people, cultures, and histories. We'll cover more detail and reveal little by little as each speech requires. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And remember, if you like this video, be sure to light up that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. Or leave comments to correct any errors, exaggerations, or perfunctory explanations this novice history fan gets wrong. See you next time, where the dead teach.